Yo, what's going on, guys? We have some new support for Numerons, and on top of that, we got new support for the Princess archetype, and essentially support for a bunch of normal archetypes. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into the first card, which is going to be called the Dollhouse. So Box of Friends is actually an older card that's not new. What we're focusing in on is specifically the Dollhouse, which is the field spell over on the left, and it's actually pretty cool. So anyways, it is a field spell that says you can only use this card's name first effect once per turn. Dollhouse. First part of it says you get to target a normal monster with 0 attack or defense in your graveyard, and spell summon one monster with the same name from your deck as a level 6 dark monster. If you control a Princess Cologne, you get to target 2 monsters instead. And then the second part of it says, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can attach one Grandpa Demito you control to your Princess Cologne as material, then end the battle phase. I really wish it was attaching a Grandpa Demito from your deck, hand, or graveyard. This would actually make it so much better, obviously. And unfortunately, like, waiting for your opponent to declare the attack kind of ruins the card, because Princess Cologne, for those of you guys that probably haven't played this card in a while, let's refresh on the effect of this card, because how it works is it has the effect if you control another monster, which would be Grandpa Demito, right, at the time, your opponent can't target this card with effects or for attacks, but then I guess the whole idea is wait for them to go to battle phase and get rid of Grandpa Demito, but it just cannot target this card. So then at that point, because you can only activate it during that certain battle phase, they're just going to get rid of that card, then this card is free roam. Obviously, the goal is to then utilize your newer card that you're bringing out, unless you're just summoning that card and leaving it there for the sake of it being another target. The problem is that more than likely you would just lose out on that monster, and more than likely you'd want to go into an Exceed play. But being able to bring out a lot of different cards as a level 6 dark monster would open up the doors to, like, Bouncer is still a pretty decent Yu-Gi-Oh card. There's still several different great, rank plays, or you can synchro or do whatever, which is kind of cool. But remember, it's any normal monster with 0 attack or defense. And so what essentially would be some great targets for some archetypes, for this, because again, the monster that you bring out doesn't have to be a certain level at all. It could be whatever, but it becomes as a level 6 dark monster. So again, that's what opens up the doors to a lot of really good plays. You can play Heretics. Driver is a target. You can go for Shiny Black Sea with the Ballpark. Was it Gokibor archetype? The Raisu ship technically is a target too. I don't know if people are going to be messing around with that. Technically, Gem Knights, there are some targets with it, but Gem Knights, you can't run that really good card. Well, that's not a normal monster anyways. If we go to Brilliant, you can't really use it, so I'm not sure how good this is going to be. Obviously, with the Madchen, Miss Madchen, and the archetype, this is what you're kind of supposed to go for. There's also any of the World Chalice, support cards, and there's the Ignites, there's the Labyrinth Dragon. This is probably one of the better targets because it is also a tuner. But you have to play multiple copies of these vanillas, which is essentially a brick for some archetypes. Ojamas could technically make use out of this too. There's a lot of archetypes that can use this. Even the Sunseed or Sunvine, Sun Avalon archetype, they usually play multiple copies of this card as they keep on bringing this card back anyways, so that would be awesome. But then you'd still have to recycle it, and remember, you're going to be summoning those monsters from the deck, which is cool because they have to have the same name. But some archetypes, again, they can get these out relatively quick. But if you do happen to also make a rank 4 play, that means you can get 2 monsters instead. So that would be really awesome, being able to go straight into a rank 6, or even synchroing up with other things, because it doesn't really limit you on only going for whatever card. So I think Dollhouse is a pretty cool card. But the second part of the effect for the archetype, again, if you guys don't know what Grandpa Demito does, no one's really played this archetype. In fact, I don't think I've even covered the new princess stuff in gameplay form. I covered the cards when they came out, but no one's playing it because it's just not good enough. But anyways, you detach material from Princess Cologne to special summon up to 2 normal monsters with 0 attack or defense from your graveyard as level 8. So this could open up the doors to more plays, but again, I really wish the card was able to attach it from the hand, field, graveyard, anywhere, to really make this a lot better. But if your Exceed monster activates an effect by detaching materials whose originally is a normal monster, except during the damage step, which is when the thing can be activated, you get to target that Exceed monster and one monster opponent control, destroy that opponent's monster, and then burn them damage to that Exceed monster's rank times 300, which is usually going to be 4, so it's going to be 1200 burn damage. But again, with Princess Cologne, the whole idea is to control that other monster, and then they can't target this card, so they're forced to go for the other card. And then this lets you, as the effect, when it gets summoned, you get to bring out the Box of Friends, and then it has the ability to detach a material And then you can just summon a normal monster from your deck or graveyard in defense position. So it really helps out kind of get started with the essential first target of the play. But again, the problem is that I really wish it was someone from your hand or deck, because again, if you draw some of these vanillas, being able to target double is cool, but it's just a little bit too conditional. You'd have to like run multiple Avarices, and when you mix in multiple Avarices plus you run in the vanillas, you could open up the doors to Brick City. But there's just a lot to talk about with that card. But next up, there is another card other than this, and this is all, by the way, coming out in animation Chronicle 2021. This card is a Numeron support card. It's a normal spell card, pretty simple effect though. If you control a Numeronious monster, you can destroy as many spell and trap cards as your opponent controls as possible. Then you get to burn them for 1,000 damage. I don't really know off the top of my head if what is that, I know the Dustins can give your opponent a bunch of monsters. Is there a card though that you can give your opponent like 5 trap cards that like you set them from like, you know, your side and your opponent's side? There's got to be some card that like lets you set some stuff on your opponent's board. And if there is it easy to do? Because I'm thinking along lines of like, is this able to pull off like OTK plays where you're able to give your opponent like 5 back row, you hit him for 5,000, hit him up with like a blasting in the runes or something? There might be some cheesy things with the Numeron Storm, but that's basically a quick little effect over there. But anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts down below on any of the cards we talked about. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and do want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh cards as soon as they come out, make sure you guys subscribe with the bell notification on for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos in the future. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.